welcome to another episode of Sweet 915. I am host Curtis Smith, and my co-host is
It's me, Fedora.
it's
How you
me, Fedora. Welcome to another episode of Sweet 915, Fedora. Happy belated Mother Day
doing?
to you. I know you was enjoying your grandbaby, so
Yes,
yeah,
thank you.
yeah.
It's
And I
going
want to
so
say,
fast.
yeah, this weekend they had the Hall of Fame, Basketball Hall of Fame. So congratulations to some of my favorite
Kobe.
players, Kevin Garnett, Tim Duncan, and the late great Kobe Bryant. You know, they all got inducted
Mhm.
to the Naismith Basketball Hall of Fame this weekend. So congratulations to them. You know, as we
It's
continue to
awesome.
move on. Prayers to the Bryant family. You know, I know that was hard for them, but
Yes.
they did the right thing. You know what I'm saying? So, but
Yeah.
today we're gonna have a good show. Have a good show today.
That's good. I'm
Yeah,
excited.
yeah, me too. So we're gonna talk about these COVID numbers again.
Yeah, new things with COVID.
Yeah, people think that because they got both of these shots that they don't have to wear the mask.
Well, the CDC has said
Mhm.
that if you have had both of the vaccinations, that you can be in like small groups with others who have been vaccinated and you don't have to wear your mask. But
Okay.
they also, I heard Dr. Fauci on Friday say that you can be safe indoor or outdoor if you've had both of the vaccination shots, you're fully vaccinated without a mask. Now, that's totally left up to you. Still, people who have not been vaccinated and children under the age of 16 who cannot get the shot need to continue to wear their mask. So, that is school age children from elementary to high school, unless they're 16 and are able to get the shot. So, pretty much nothing has changed except for the people who have been fully vaccinated. But I say again, it's only left up to you if you want to go maskless, if you feel, confident enough. For me, I still wear my mask, and in most of our places of business that we shop, still require a mask, which they should. So, I mean, people shouldn't get too lax and too excited because it's a lot of people still out there not vaccinated.
Yeah, and we're going to continue to talk about give you updates because it's important. Because some people still don't believe in having the shot, and it's important because being around people that don't have the shot. We've heard cases where people that have been fully vaccinated still catching COVID.
That's
So
right. Yep.
yeah. So as you can see, the numbers show that from April 30th to the May 13th, that there's like an increase of what,
Going up.
close to 1,000 positive cases that have come in. So
Mhm.
COVID is still real, still out there.
And it's
Um,
going up.
yeah. So you got to be careful. And they're still giving out the vaccinations. 713 have been allocated, and we have 745,000 that have been administered. So it's free. They're creating more clinics to give free vaccinations. So it's important that you get vaccinated, and you can go to epstrong.org, and they can tell you where to go get vaccinated. You have testing locations can be found also on elpasostrong.org. So if you need to get tested, or you need to find out what locations are giving out free shots, go to elpasostrong.org and get that information and continue to protect yourself, protect those
Mhm.
around you, and protect your loved ones.
Yep. Very important. This is our new normal now. So
Yeah,
we got to embrace it and be smart about it
yeah. And we
if you want to live.
yeah. Also, we offer condolences to those who've lost loved ones, whether to COVID or another illness or natural causes, because during the pandemic, some have lost family members and friends and weren't able to say their final farewells because of COVID
Yeah.
precautions and with funeral homes and churches and things of that nature. So we offer our condolences to those family members that may be still grieving to this day. And
Yeah.
today, hopefully, the doctor that's coming on, the counselor is going to tell you how to deal with some of those things.
Yeah.
If you have a local event you'd like for us to promote, send an email to the real sweet915@gmail.com or message us on social media at host Curtis Smith or it's me, Fedora. Fedora answer you quicker than I would. No, I'm just playing.
Don't say that.
I'm just playing.
I'm trying to put me on blast. So, all right. So, upcoming topics all this month, we're going to be featuring military veterans and mental health professionals. So, if you are a veteran or a mental health professional, we'd like for you to be a guest on our show. So, send your information to the real sweet 915 at gmail.com. And then remember, next month, we will focus on men in the community who are making a difference. So next month will be Father's Day also. So remember to get those honoring your fathers in the community during Father's Day.
Yep. So today's topic, recognizing veterans in our community during Military Appreciation Month. Today's guest is U.S. Army veteran Tyrone D Mcduffie Jr., owner, founder of Counselor Care Centers, PLLC. Tyrone is a licensed professional counselor who specializes in treating patients with depression, anxiety, PTSD, and anger management. He obtained a Master's of Arts degree in counseling from Webster University and completed his postgraduate supervision at ACES, which is Army Community Education Services at Fort Bliss, Texas, and El Paso Behavioral Health Systems in El Paso, Texas. Welcome, Mr. Tyrone Mcduffie.
Hi.
Hey, you're muted. You're
You
muted.
on mute.
Glad to be here, and thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
Hey, thank you for coming. Thank you for coming, sir.
Taking the time out.
Oh, it's my pleasure. It's most definitely my pleasure.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, quickly about myself, I'm from Buffalo, New York originally, the 716, and I'm very proud of that fact that I'm from Buffalo. After that, growing up in Buffalo had its challenges, but I had a good family support with my mother and my father who always supported me and, helped guide me the right way along with my two younger siblings, both my sisters. Very proud of them as well. And so after high school, I joined the military. Served in the military for 6 years. And during that time in the military, I met my beautiful wife, Shakisha McDuffie. And in July, we'll be married 24 years.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, 24 years.
Congratulations. That's a blessing.
Yeah, it really is, especially with her having to deal with me.
And you admitted it. Woo, that's
I got to keep it real. That's what I do as a counselor. I keep it real. And I've been blessed enough to have two beautiful children. My daughter, Shakara, who's 20, great student, college athlete. My son, Tyrone McDuffie III, great student, great high school athlete. So I've been extremely blessed. And the military is what brought me and my wife here to El Paso. And when we got here, we had our difficulties adjusting to El Paso. But once we were able to adjust and meet people and get used to the area, we decided to make this home. And it's been home for us since 1999.
Oh, wow.
Okay, outstanding. That's good stuff.
All right, so we're going to dive into the questions for you. So what were some challenges, if any, not to say that you had any, that you endured while serving in the military? And what hardships would you face, or would you face those hardships differently now, looking back,
Well, I think the biggest difficulty I faced while in the military was just like most young people, being away from home and not having parents having those restrictions and guidelines on you. I'm gonna be honest. Sometimes I was out there doing some things I shouldn't have been doing, ripping and running, not really as focused as I should have been during those years. And, I'll be honest, wasted a lot of time, wasted a lot of money. And that was a struggle for me. And then as I matured, I got better with that during my time in the military. So for any young person joining the military, I would say, find you a good leader, find you a good mentor right away, get to the Army Educational Center, start taking some college courses, and be on a path of with positive direction right from the beginning. And I wish I would have done that for myself when I initially joined the military. And that was the biggest struggle for me joining the military.
Okay. That's some good advice. Yeah, because they do get. It's almost like when you go to college and you get all this freedom, and you don't have an adult or a mentor, in your ear telling you, okay, do this, and you just kind of wild out sometimes. So
Yeah, and having that freedom with money in your pocket makes it all the difference. Because see, when you don't have money in your pocket, you limit it to how much stupidity you can be, how much stupidity you can do. But when you don't, it's different when you got that money in your pocket. So when you broke, you only could do and be so stupid.
So much. Yeah. That's true. That's powerful right there. It's so true. So what inspired you to create your counselor care center?
Well, it was a journey. Initially, I got into this field because people kind of told me I had a natural ability to talk and communicate and relate to people. So when I decided to go to Webster and pursue my master's in counseling, I did it to help remove the stigma about African-American people seeking help through counseling. Because what I found was happening with a lot of African-Americans, the only time we would go for counseling is when it was court mandated. We wouldn't go just to get a checkup and, I'm depressed today, I'm having some anxiety. So we had this stigma that we were going to be viewed differently. And then as I learned a little more, I found out a lot of it was because of systemic racism that we experience as African Americans. Because during the crack era, if a woman went to a social worker or went to a therapist saying, hey, I'm struggling with my drug addiction, they'll give her some counseling, but at the same time, they'll take her children away from her. So that even pushed African Americans further away from counseling. So I got into it because I wanted to help eradicate that negative stigma about African Americans seeking help through counseling. And I want them to know that there are counselors who look like you, talk like you, can laugh and joke, but at the same time, be serious and know exactly what they're doing to help you better your life. So that's why I went into the field, and then creating counseling care centers, it came to me from my father, because my father used to do so much for people in his family, and he always cared about his family. And when my father passed away, one of the things I told him was I was going to do something that represents you the right way. So that's why I created Counseling Care Center. And I want people to feel comfortable when they come here, that we're not out to exploit you. We're not out here just to make money off of you. We're not out here to take advantage of you. We're out here to help you live a better, healthier life through counseling and therapeutic interventions.
Beautiful. I love it. Yeah.
First and foremost, I just want to thank you for your service, man, because like you said, a lot of people, the military is not for everybody. So I see that you had that inspiration to get in there and do what you got to do. And then you said, okay, I want to transition and do something else. So first and foremost, thank you for your service and creating these centers for mental health patients and PTSD personnel too. So how do you tell us more about the center and how you reach out to those who are in need of the services you provide?
Well, Counseling Care Centers is totally virtual because when I was looking for a brick and mortar building at the time, COVID hit. So COVID changed a lot of the plans and ideals that I had. But one thing we know about everything in this world, you have to be able to adapt. So I adapt. And then I looked at a telehealth model. And through that model, I've been able to see clients all over Texas, which at first I was only going to be seeing clients in the El Paso area. So that actually opened up my business. So I was able to help more people in the state of Texas. And then also with coaching and our life skill enrichment classes, we're able to see people throughout the United States, because everybody point blank doesn't need counseling. Some people just need a stress management class or anger management class or learn some tools and techniques that they could take with them and start implementing so they can start reducing their stress. They can understand what the cost of their anger is, and they can better manage and deal with their anxiety. So my business is totally virtual.
Oh, that's great. Good. That's good. You don't have to leave your home. You can be in a comfortable environment and sit down and talk to you, and you can give them tips and stuff like that while they're in there. They're comfortable, because some people that have mental health issues or depression issues or PTSD, they may not want to leave their home. So the services you provide, I think, is very good. That's very good.
I appreciate that. Yeah. And what it also does, it gives the client more flexibility. You know, some people can't drive all the way across town and go to a particular clinic and be there at a particular time and sit in the waiting room. You know, if you go ahead and you working with me, I'm gonna send you that link. You're gonna have it on your phone. You can sit in your car, be alone, open it up, and we can have that session. You know, you could be on your lunch break. So it really makes it a lot easier for the clients to get what they need, and it just gives them a better opportunity to seek the services that they need.
It's good stuff right there. So how do you counsel patients with extreme PTSD, for example, war veterans? You know, a lot of guys come, a lot of soldiers, veterans come from overseas, and they see some things that it's just hard for them to grasp and deal with it when they get back to the States. Because once they take that uniform off or transition from the combat area back to the States, it's like, how do I deprogram myself? You know,
it's difficult because when you're dealing with PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder, you're dealing not just with one thing. You're not just dealing with anxiety only or depression only. You're dealing with night frights. You're dealing with not getting sleep. So you're dealing with a lot of different areas. So when I'm dealing with patients like that, they usually come to me through referrals from a psychologist or psychiatrist. So a lot of times you do have medical intervention at the same time, and then I work on the therapeutic part. So what I do is first I try to connect with them, and then I go out and I work on connecting with the client, and I want the client to feel comfortable with me. You know, I want to show them that I have positive, unconditional regard for them, that I'm not judging them, that I don't want to force them to do anything that they're not ready to do yet. And then the main thing I do is a lot of listening. And then once we go ahead and we really build a relationship and build a rapport, then I start to nudge them a little bit, talk to them about what they're feeling, what they're experiencing. Because we know with veterans and we know with military personnel, the one thing they don't want to do is look weak.
Yeah.
They want to be strong. So they're going to hold it first. And they want to check you as a therapist to see if you really are true to what you say. Do you really care about them? Or are you just here to get a paycheck and make some money off of them? And then once they understand that you truly care about them, they start to open up. And then you can start to work some interventions and really help them down that path. But when you're dealing with PTSD, you're just dealing with a lot of elements, and it takes time. And that's the biggest thing, is that I always want the service member to know that it's not going to happen overnight. It's going to take time. But as you make that small little change, that's still change. And then we can still work and build on that, and then make more changes and more positive changes in the right direction.
So you mentioned some positive things that you are. So you ensure that it's not okay. So you get a referral. So this referral is not for 30 days or 60 days. You go. Do you go back and say, you know what? He's not there or she's not there yet. I'm gonna need a little more time, because, like you said, you got to take time to open up with the veteran to make them so they can feel comfortable with you. So you go back and say, no, the 30 days thing is not going to work. I need a little more time with this person because they're not there yet. From your standpoint, do you do that sometimes?
Well, absolutely. As a licensed professional counselor, I have the ability to refer back to the doctor and tell the doctor, look, this 30 days is not going to work with this patient. We might need to look at 90 days. We might need to look at 2 sessions per week and not 1 session per week. And then a lot of times, sometimes their insurance will run out, or it could be a situation where they don't have more referrals. And I have done pro bono work where I just knew it was more important for me to make sure that I seen that particular veteran that week, regardless if he had more sessions or not. So we do have ability as therapists to really help people in a lot of different ways. We just have to be willing to do so. And sometimes, yes, do we do it pro bono? Yes. Sometimes do we do it without getting paid? Yes. But at the end of the day, it's about helping people and helping them live better and healthier lives.
Thank you for that. So tell us about some of the exercises or ideas that you have for people that have episodes with extreme PTSD.
Well, the main thing I work on when I'm dealing with somebody with PTSD is I want to look at the total person. So I want to find out, what did your medical doctor say? Are you getting the right amount of sleep? Do you need a CPAP machine? You know, are you eating healthy? You know, are you exercising? I want to look at all of that as well, because that impacts how they feel. Because a lot of times with PTSD, they're dealing with extreme anxiety. And anxiety is really just about having uncertainty about the unknown. So we want to get them to have more confidence, and we want to work with them with that. So I use different intervention techniques where sometimes I will say, you know what, today, I need for you to go out today. I'm going to need for you to go out, and I'm going to need for you to tell me what it was like while you were out today. You know, I'm going to need for you to interact with 2 or 3 people, and then tell me how it was interacting with those 2 or 3 people today, so we can see where you're at and where we need to get you to. And then if it's depression, the main thing we want to do, if they do need medical intervention as far as medications for the depression or anxiety, we want to make sure they get that. But the other thing we want to do is we want to get them involved in something. So I always try to tap into, well, what do you love to do? What matters to you? What's important to you? So I would talk to these veterans a lot about, well, what about coaching? What about giving something to somebody who can't do anything for you? What about volunteering? Anything to get them up doing something so they don't have time to sit around and stay in that dark place. Because the fastest way to snap out of that is to get up and do something.
Okay.
That's cool. So depression sometimes, because you mentioned depression. So depression, it leads to suicide sometimes. So how can a family member help someone with depression to prevent that suicide ideation?
Well, of course, Ms. Fedora, you know, like I know, being also a therapist, it can. But what I look at first, even before that, I look at what's the base. And a lot of times the base for all of that is stress. And are they managing their stress? Because a lot of times when we don't manage our stress, it's very easy for us to fall into depression, fall into anxiety, fall into suicidal and homicidal ideations. So when I'm dealing with that, I get back to their stress level. So I talk to them about, how much are you taking on at home? What's your schedule like? What's your demands like? Who all asking you to do stuff? So sometimes I hate to say it, I start them off like babies. Because you know, when babies first start talking and they first start learning to communicate, one of the first words they learn to say is no. So I tell them, sometimes you got to start saying no. And telling people, no, I can't do that. No, I won't be there. No, I'm not able. And you got to just let that be. Because a lot of times they add all that stress on them. So then as I'm working with them with the stress components, as far as, you know, I got an acronym I use called SWEEP. So I talk to them about getting sleep, staying hydrated properly, eating properly, exercising properly, and taking personal time just for themselves. That's the time where you're not running around for your kids. You're not running around for your wife. That's the time where you can go and meditate. That's the time where you can go into prayer. That's the time where you can go on that hike and enjoy that hobby that you love to enjoy without your children, without your wife. Now, I'm not telling you leave your family. We ain't going there. But I'm telling you, you have to have time for yourself. And so as we start working on the stress management tools, then it's easier for me to talk to them about depression and talk to them about the signs of depression and things they can do when they start feeling depressed. Like, let's get up and do something. Let's get up today and make the bed. You know, let's get up and wash some dishes. You know, and then we want to talk to them about, I give them information that they can share with their family, so their family members can also understand the signs of depression, so they can recognize when they fall into that that's not a healthy place for them to be. And then that's when I tell them that you should be encouraging your family members to have you call me up or see another professional in the field, because we don't want you in that state at all.
Yeah, it's so important. And when you were saying self-care, I was thinking, and also sleep. If your self-care is always going and go, you know, you always going and going and going, sleeping is also a self-care. Doing absolutely nothing is also self-care for you if you're that person that's always on the go, always busy. Sitting on your couch, looking at, I say, ratchet television, whatever it is, that is self-care. So yeah, it is very, very important.
Absolutely it is. And with sleep, a lot of times we forget that when we do get our sleep, that's when our body gets to rejuvenate. That's when everything gets to work for us and our body gets to heal and we get to recover. So if we're not getting that time, We're not giving our bodies a chance to recover. So when we get up that next morning and we feel drowsy, or we get up that next morning and we don't have no pep, and the first thing we got to do is go grab a cup of coffee. Well, a lot of times you don't need the coffee. You needed a couple more hours sleep last night. You know, but we just don't put it on people like that. But sometimes, like Ms. Fedora said, we got to park it right there, and we got to tell them, look, you got to start getting some sleep.
Yeah, that affects a lot. So what do you suggest we do as individuals? Because I know you talked about it earlier, to combat that negative stigma about seeking mental health care, particularly among Black Americans.
The biggest, and to me, the main thing we need to do is we have to stop treating mental illness and mental health like it's taboo in the Black community. We just really have to start talking about it. We know in Black families, we always have people suffering with mental health. But a lot of times we just, that's Aunt so-and-so, she'll just stay in the back. Oh, that's Uncle so-and-so, don't bring him to the cookout because he's gonna act a fool. But we know that these people in our family were dealing with mental health. So first thing we got to do is just talk about it and be honest about it and understand that that's just part of living in this world, that we're all going to experience it. We're all going to have a trauma. We're all going to be depressed. We're all going to have anxiety. All of us going to have it. So once we go ahead and we just say we're going to finally talk about it, now we need to make seeing a mental health professional as common as going to the emergency room. If you break your leg, you're not going to sit around the house for 3 weeks with a broken leg. You're going to go to the emergency room. You're going to get a cast on it. You're going to do follow-ups and see your doctor until your leg is strong again. So we need to do that with mental health. When our people are feeling depressed, having anxiety, suicidal, homicidal ideations, we don't need to wait. We need to get them to the professional right away. And guess what? We don't need to make it a big deal. Just take them in there. Then we need to start doing what I call, just like you go see your dentist, we need to do that twice a year checkup with your mental health professional, where you come in there and say, hey, I'm doing well now. I'm feeling good. X, Y, and Z happened to me. I had these struggles. I had these issues. I overcame them. And this is how I overcame them. Thank you, Mr. McDuffie, for these tools you gave me. These are the tools I use. And so when I had problems, this is what I went to. So just like your regular doctor would tell the person, let's get you on a diet. Let's check your blood pressure. Let's monitor this. That's the same way we need to treat mental health in the African-American community. But we have to talk about it. We have to be honest about it. And we don't need to point the fingers at people because they're going to seek help. Really, we need to be standing up and applauding them for being strong enough to go seek help.
Yeah, exactly. Awesome. So any helpful words for people who may suffer in silence with mental illness, or families or family members or friends with loved ones that they know are suffering, but yet refuse to seek help?
It is difficult when someone's suffering and they refuse to seek help. It is difficult because we can't just force somebody to go somewhere. We don't have that ability. But I would say if that's your situation in your household, then I would tell that person, you go ahead and learn the signs of depression. You learn the signs of anxiety. You learn what to look for suicidal ideation and homicidal ideation. So when you see those signs come up, then if you have to call 911 or you have to really intervene, you know what to look for. Now, what I would say for a person that's on the fence about it and not sure if they want to go or not, and they say, man, maybe I should talk to somebody, I'm not quite sure. I want you to know there's counselors that look just like me, that look just like you. It's counselors that listen to R&B music. It's counselors listen to hip hop. Because I understand how it is sometimes. Like my brother DMX, rest in peace. Sometimes we live in our lives and we got so much at us that we lose our mind up in here, up in here, up in here. But I understand that. And you have counselors that understand that like you. And a lot of us understand what it's like to grow up in the rural South. We understand what it's like to grow up in the inner city. I understand the stress of living in the inner city every day. The stressors that you don't even recognize are there just because you live in an impoverished community without the resources. So you don't have to feel ashamed because you come talk to Mr. McDuffie or you talk to Miss Fedora. You don't have to feel ashamed of that because we're not there to judge you. You know, we are you and you are us. So let's work together and help you figure out what it is that is stopping you from being your best self. And we have the skills and the training to do that. Just give us opportunity.
Yeah, beautifully put. Beautifully put. So what do you, oh, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Go.
Okay. Somebody's watching the show. So this is a question from one of our audience members.
Okay, that's good. I'm glad people are watching. I was nervous. I was sending it out to everybody.
No,
I hope somebody watching.
Yeah, they watch it. They appreciate your information that you got. So the question is, so what about family members that are going through a mental meltdown and the family wants to call the police? As we see today, the police is killing the mental people that have mental health issues. So what's the better option for help? You don't have the option to call 911, instead of 911.
You know what? And I'm gonna be real. Anytime you got African Americans and police, that's anxiety right there. We all know that. We all get nervous if we're driving a car, if they come into our house, come to our door, just because our history of dealing with law enforcement and police. So in that type of situation, I would say you got to look at what's going on. Is it a life-threatening situation? Does that person have a gun? Does that person have a weapon? Is that person about to do immediate harm to themselves or someone else? If that's the case, then yes, call 911 because they're about to hurt themselves or hurt somebody else. Now, if it's not a case where they're going to do immediate harm and you see them going down that road and you can get them and you can talk to them, you can sit them down or you can really get control of the situation, then yes, I would say work through it. Talk to them, go through all the necessary steps, and explain to them why you don't want to call police or law enforcement. Explain to them how much you care about them, and you don't want to see this go the wrong way because somebody might come to the door who can't interpret your passion and think it's aggression. We don't want that to happen. So you might even have to explain that to your family member that's going through that. But of course, if it's something that's life-threatening, where somebody can be hurt or God forbid killed, the best bet is to call 911 in that situation.
And also know that you have your emergency medical. If it's medical, like if they take in, pills or about to, you can also call the ambulance to come, and the hospitals will do an evaluation. And then the next step is the behavioral hospital will take them in for evaluation. So that's also, an avenue for you to take. But true, if they have a weapon or something of that nature, you have no other choice than to call 911.
Okay. So I see both of y'all answer that question. So my question is, do you think it's important? Because as you see on videos that we've seen in the past, where 10 police officers pull up to the scene, but nobody knows that this is a person that has a mental breakdown. Do you think it's important to let the dispatcher know that this person is having a mental breakdown or they have mental issues? So when they come to the scene, the first thing they're not doing is drawing a weapon, which escalates the situation to where now they shot and killed somebody that they weren't aware that had a mental issue. All they know is a family member called the police and said they're running up and down the street with no clothes on, or they just did something to a family member. How important do you think that is?
Mr. Curtis, I'm gonna tell you that's extremely important, to have that information so those who are responding can respond appropriately. That's one of the biggest problems we always have, especially in the African American community, where we feel like a lot of times, no matter what we do, is the response is always magnified, it's always intensified, it's always extra with us. So of course we want to let them know that yes, this person has a history of mental health issues. Yes, this person is having an episode, or yes, this person took some type of substance that we're not sure what they took, and right now they're not themselves. We absolutely want to do that, and we would love it. I mean, I don't know if it's going to happen, but with the different police and reform bills they're trying to pass, hopefully our law enforcement can get more trained in this area. So when they respond to the scene, they know how to deal with it appropriately. But yes, you do want somebody that can be there to try to tell that first squad car or that first officer on the scene, yes, this person has a history of mental health, and please do whatever you can to contain the situation without doing harm to them. As counselors, my mentor, one of the first things he told me was, first of all, you want to be competent, and then after you're competent, you want to do no harm. And I wish that our law enforcement would take that same two principles when they show up on the scene. First, be competent, and second, do no harm.
Yep.
Oh, so we have another question. Would having a home sign posted help, like a deaf child, anxiety, mental disorder, or vision disorder, posted in your yard? So if you do call the police for situations such as what we're discussing, would that help?
Absolutely. I think that would be great to do that. And I think they would absolutely help. And I would say not just in the house, I would say even in the vehicles. If you're driving around and you have a person that suffers from severe anxiety, have something like that in your vehicle. So when that police officer comes to the scene and they're asking you for your ID, registration, driver's license, etc., you can even let them know there that, hey, I suffer from extreme anxiety. These situations make me very tense. Now, you wouldn't put all that on the card, but when you show them the card would kind of,
Right.
explain that to the police officers. And I think that is a great tool to use. That's an absolutely great tool to use.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I have a question before Fedora asks the next question. I got a question. What are your thoughts about group therapy when dealing with mental health? Do you think it should be an individual thing, or group therapy is okay for certain situations?
I'm gonna be real. I think group therapy is great. I think is outstanding. But I think even when you're doing group therapy, you should still have some individual sessions with that client. But group therapy is powerful because what group therapy does, it creates its own synergy, and it gives everybody else in that group a chance to learn and feed off of one another. So as a facilitator in the group, there might be some things that I didn't even think to bring up, some issues I didn't even think to discuss, or some tools that I didn't even know that someone else in that group was using to deal with their depression or deal with their anxiety or PTSD that someone else in the group might have been using for years. And then they bring it up and I say, boom, okay, I'm glad they brought that up. Let me go ahead and add a little something on that. And let's go ahead and make it relevant to our group discussion here. So group therapy is a powerful tool, but I still believe you still need individual. And then depending on the situation, you still might even need family, because you might have to discuss with the wife. You might even have to have the children in, because a person dealing with PTSD, depression, or anxiety, it just doesn't impact them. It impacts the whole family dynamic. So, but I do love group therapy. I think it's great.
Okay.
Great. So what do you do yourself to nourish yourself as a mental health professional to avoid or remedy counselor burnout, or to manage, stress triggers?
I have different activities and different things I do. One is, I'm a Christian, I'm a believer. I'm a member of a local church here, so I'm gonna shout it out real quick. I'm a member of Visitors Chapel, AME, here in El Paso, Texas, located at 518 North Australia Street. But I do go to prayer, and that helps me a lot. And then I have people who I can go to that are peers and colleagues, and we can go ahead and we can de-stress, and we could talk about these issues and these subjects in a way that other people don't understand. I have my wife, I have my family, and I'm a big sports fan. So, I'm going to watch the Buffalo Bills on TV, 716 represent. So I'm going to watch the Bills. I'm going to watch LeBron James, one of my favorite players. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to get out the house. And then just other things that I do, like, I do breathing. I do believe in tapping, emotional freedom technique. So I do those sometime when I don't have time to watch a game or watch some comedy show. But I'm kind of an outgoing person. So the biggest thing with me is connecting with my peers, talking with my wife. And sometimes that's why I say she put up with me, because sometimes I'm kind of hard. I come home from a day of work and I'm piling it all on. I'm piling on her. I'm piling on the kids, and they like, man, Dad, you complaining too much. I'm like, man, you don't know how hard it is when people putting all their problems on you all day. And then all of a sudden you're trying to get back home and adjust to yourself. So you got to have a sense of humor with it. I know I crack a couple jokes here and there, but I think also laughing and having a sense of humor helps a lot.
Yeah, it does. And I heard you mention the comedy shows. That's a true help when you can just sit and laugh. Like say, laughter is medicine, and it truly is. It is.
It is.
Yeah, truly is.
Yeah. So I see that you from what you say, you balance it. You got to balance it with the family life and dealing with the patients as well. So, do you sometimes say, it's time for a vacation, even though, you get out and do your thing. And, like you said, you do the comedy and the sports and things of that nature. Do you say, okay, now it's time for me to take a break as a counselor and say, okay, fam, let's get in the car. Let's just take a trip. It's time for, even though Tyrone needs some me time, I need some we time, So how often do you do that?
Well, with my family, I'm gonna be honest, with the kids and all of them always being in sports and being in activities, I would say just almost about every other weekend, me, my wife, and the kids, we were going somewhere: Phoenix, Dallas, Arizona, New York, Houston. So we always travel. We're looking at planning some other type of getaways with some new friends and some new relationships that we made. But yes, I mean, family time is the key, because to me, the family is the foundation. If you don't have that in order and you don't have that right, it's just like when we on the airplane, right? And they giving us that pre-check warning, right? We're gonna be flying at whatever altitude, but if we lose altitude, go ahead and put your mask on first before you put on anybody else's, right? It's the same thing with your family. If you don't have your family right, and you don't have your household right, and you don't have your finances and all that stuff in order, then you can't go out there and be the best version of yourself when you're helping others. I'm just gonna keep it real. If you out there not taking care of business, you neglecting your own wife and your own children, then you can't be the best you when you're working with somebody else. You just won't, because there's still too much noise going on in your own individual head. So yes, Mr. Curtis, me and my family, man, we get out there and we get on the road a lot, and we go a lot of places, man, and we just enjoy life, man. Like, we sit back, we crack jokes as a family, we do a little bit of all of it. And I'm gonna be honest, sometimes I like to give it, but I can't always take it, Curtis.
I got you. Yeah. So also, do you have like emergency numbers that you recommend people call in case they can't contact you or one of your fellow counselors? You say, hey man, if you got something that's you really need to talk to me about, and you can't contact me, here's a number you can call, and whatever time, day, weekend, here's a number you call, and you can talk to this person. Do you have links? Do you have networks like that as well?
Well, the biggest one is the National Suicide Hotline, and then you have the National Suicide Hotline for veterans. Those would be the two biggest ones. And then, of course, you always got 911. Whenever I, don't have another therapist or somebody to give a client to, I always make sure all my clients have those numbers. And then part of my check-in with my clients, I do a check on them every time they come in, and I want to see where their stress, their depression, their anxiety levels are at for that day. But they always get those emergency numbers, because when you at that point, you do need to have that emergency number to call. And I tell them, don't just leave it on a piece of paper. Don't just leave it on the business card. Put it in your phone. Yeah. Because we all can go through our phone right now. And if we keeping it real, we all got about 20, 30 numbers in our phone. We don't even know what they for. So to add one more number that's important as the National Suicide Prevention number. Matter of fact, everybody watching this podcast right now should take out their phone and put that number in, because it might not just be for you. It might be for somebody you love. So we all should have that number in our phone and have it ready to go.
Say it. So, hey, Mr. McDuffie, it's been a pleasure having you. You put out some great information. What else can we say, Fedora? I mean,
nothing.
Awesome. You straight with no chaser and told you, hey, this is what you got to do. Don't be afraid. People of color and our people, or any people of, the people in the world today, don't be afraid. Especially you especially men. We as men, like you say, we don't like to go to counseling, and you just hit it on the head. You got to talk to somebody. So we appreciate the information that you shared with us today, and I hope it helps somebody. And thank you once again. Thank you for your service. Thank you for your commitment to the El Paso community. But you got anything else you want to tell the people before you have any final words you want to give to them before we let you go for today?
Well, I just want to let everybody know that, if you don't need counseling, I totally understand that. But we will have some workshops coming up soon. We will have some stress management workshops. We will have some anger management workshops. And I'm also available for personal coaching. If you want some one-on-ones, just reach out to my numbers. You can contact me there. And I'm telling you, soon I got the website dropping, and I'm telling you, it's going to be the baddest website out there. There's going to be videos on there. It's going to be interactive. You're going to be able to leave stuff on the message board, and I just want to be part of the community, and I want people to know that I'm here for you. And we're going to have workshops available. So I want to leave people with this. Sweep that stress out of your life. Sweep it out your door. And remember, sweep stands for getting the proper amount of sleep, drinking the right amount of water, staying hydrated, eating properly, exercising. It's an old saying, if you don't use it, you lose it. So everybody should be doing a little bit of exercise. And last but not least, take some personal time for yourself. Take some alone time for yourself. Take some time for some meditation, for some prayer, and just take some time for yourself, everybody. And once again, Miss Fedora, Mr. Curtis, I thank you so much for having me. It was just a pleasure to be here.
Yeah. Thank you for coming and taking time out on a Sunday. So thank you.
Mm-hmm. So we got some announcements, Miss Fedora, that we want to. We got some events coming up that we want to let everybody know about. So what we got first?
Oh no, let's see.
Man, what we got? Let's see.
Put our flyers up. Well, we discussed that, but we really want you guys to send in your videos and your pictures for Father's Day, because they always give, the fathers always give mothers and Mother's Day a bad name, because they say that mothers get everything and fathers don't get anything, right? We don't honor our fathers. So we are trying to honor our fathers. So please send your videos and your pictures in to honor those fathers. And we're going to be looking at 3 awesome fathers for our Father's Day giveaway. So please email therealsweet915@gmail.com or message us at sweet915. We also have our second biannual El Paso Black Expo, and it'll be August the 14th through the 21st, 2021. Please give us your information or contact us at elpasoblackexpo.com. So if you have a business, if you're a business vendor, if you're an entertainer, if you're a speaker, a volunteer, or sponsor, please email us.
And we'll be hosting that too. We'll be the host of that.
Oh yeah, we'll be the host.
Mm-hmm. August is Black Business Month, celebrating Black entrepreneurship virtually on the border all month long. So also join us August 20th for the 2021 El Paso Black Business Awards and Entrepreneur of the Year presentation during the Black Expo, August 14th through the 21st, 2021.
Yep.
Contributor writers and bloggers. Black El Paso Voice is looking for contributors to assist with telling the stories about living Black on the border. Email us at blackelpasovoice@gmail.com for more information.
Right. And contributing writers and bloggers, El Paso Women, epwomen.com, is looking for contributors to assist with telling their stories about and highlighting women on the border. Email elpasowomen@gmail.com for more information. And Living Black on the Border with our host, Curtis, on Mondays at noon. So Curtis Smith is the host of that show, blackontheborder.com. So if you want to get in contact curtissmith.me or at host Curtis Smith to get on that show.
Juneteenth, 2021, print directory and resource guide featuring Black-owned business, entrepreneurs, churches, organizations, and resources. The printed copy will cost you, but you can also register for free, and the proceeds go to the Black Roundtable Youth Initiatives. So go to the El Paso BlackPages.com, El Paso Black Business Network, and register. The online cost is free as well. So it's free to be online, to register your business, your Black-owned business here. So it's free. Would you say it's Fedora free?
Free 99.
Free 99. Hey, so you're gonna have to check me out tomorrow, Fedora. If you have time, you can put me on your phone at Spotify or one of them. While you sit in the classroom and they're really not paying you no attention because you're trying to. Hey,
so what you trying to say?
Hey, listen, I seen some videos recently. I seen some videos recently where the teacher was talking, Fedora, and the dude was laying to the side eating chips in a sandwich. His mama took the picture and posted it. Said, "My son is really paying attention. He was eating chips and eating a sandwich while the teacher was talking."
And that's why when we call on them, they ghost us and don't answer. We take attendance child, call the child's name, and nobody's calling you. Why are you not answering? Because I call in a minute, honey. I'm like, y'all gonna listen to me today because I worked too hard on this lesson for you not to be paying attention.
Yep. So testing is coming up this month, right? So
yes, start testing. We actually test this Wednesday. We've been testing last week too, so different grade levels.
Okay. So, like I was saying, you're going to have to check me out tomorrow. Guess who I'm going to have? The El Paso Black Alumni.
You don't even know.
Yeah, I do. Alumni Network. I'm looking at my notes. The El Paso UTEP. I'm sorry, the UTEP, the Black UTEP El Paso Alumni Network. So it's a network that they have. So they're going to be on tomorrow to tell a little bit about what they're doing out here, how you can get in touch with them, how can you be a part of the alumni, the Black Alumni Network that they have there at UTEP that some people don't know about, but that's why.
And they just had graduations too.
Yeah, so you could tell them about it. Yeah, you got graduation coming up, and I'm sure
they just had them this past weekend, because my daughter graduated.
Yep. So tell your daughter, hey, we're gonna get you. We're gonna make her a part of the UTEP Black Alumni Network so she can get out there and let them know that we are here.
All right.
Yeah.
Let them know about it.
So any final words for the people before we get out of here, Fedora? It's Sunday.
I know. You like, let's go. Well, as always, keep love in your heart. Please stay safe with COVID numbers sort of rising. Just be smart about it. Protect yourself, protect your family members and friends, and just have a blessed week.
Yeah, I say the same thing. Have a blessed week. Wear your mask, and just because you have the shots doesn't mean that you can't get COVID, because people are saying they're catching COVID.
Oh yeah. You still can.
Yeah.
You just won't die from it, thank God, but you can still get it, and it is no fun.
So thanks again for tuning in. God bless and have a good week.
All right.